I could have sworn the first time we saw his Vikavolt, it was much bigger than it is now. I must be tripping. Wait a minute, no I'm not. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, episode 119 of the Sun and Moon anime titled Super Fast Vikavolt, The Awakening of Sophocles just appeared, and in this episode, Sophocles is going to get a Z-ring. How, you might ask? Well, let's find out. The episode begins with Sophocles showing off his VR goggle and armor that's on his Vikavolt, and he tells them how VR works. Basically, whatever his Vikavolt sees, he'll also see. He's using that because he plans to enter the Vikavolt race, which is happening pretty soon, and he shows them a flyer that says that if he can win this Vikavolt race, he can win a Bug Z as a prize, even though he doesn't have a Z-ring. But he wants to get a Z crystal for when he does get a Z-ring. His friends let him know that they're going to cheer him on and support him, and his Vikavolt gets excited and shocks everyone. To prepare for his race, Sophocles is practicing and getting used to how it feels to see from the perspective of his Vikavolt. He can't get used to it quite immediately, so he has his Vikavolt go short distances first. First to his Togedemaru, which is successful. Then he tries to get his Vikavolt to go to Kiawe, but that fails because Vikavolt goes to a tree to eat some sap. A bit of time passes and we see Sophocles continuing his training with his Vikavolt, sending his Vikavolt out of class to fly around, using it to see the board better, and even getting home just by using its perspective. We cut to the nighttime before the race, and Sophocles is at home analyzing some data like weather, the sea, stuff like that. However, his Vikavolt is confident that they'll win, and so is he. The next day, and our heroes are at the racing arena. It looks like Sophocles pulled an all-nighter as he's exhausted. Then, they hear some oohs and ahs as they turn to see who the previous champion, whose name is DeRosa, being interviewed. Sophocles says that there's going to be tons of good racers like him, so he needs to stay calm. But as he's saying that, he hears a response behind him, letting him know that if you're already this nervous, you're not gonna win. Who is it? Well, it's Horacio and his gang. He's evolved his shiny Chargebug into an awesome looking shiny Vikavolt. He lets Sophocles know that he trained like crazy in Pony Island and that he's ready for the race, and today's the day that he'll beat him. While this is happening, we see James also getting ready to enter the competition. Of course, they don't have a Vikavolt, so their Vikavolt is fully mechanical, and they're entering the race, of course, to capture all the Vikavolt and get to Giovanni as always. We then cut to Anna announcing the competition as her competitors are on the track, ready to go. But just before they can start, she introduces Hapu, who says that she's looking forward to the race, and that's about it. Anna then shows the track, which shows that it's going to begin at the course, then it'll go to the ocean, then it'll go to the forest, and then the cave, and then the beach, and finally back into the track for the last thing. It's kind of a long race, and so for this race, the riders have been giving this motorcycle-like thing where they can sit and pilot their Pokemon. All the racers go in their pod. James jumps on and replaces the steering wheel in the motorcycle with one that will allow him to control their mechanical Vikavolt. Alright, the race is about to begin. Are you ready? On your mark, get set, go! The race begins with a roaring start, and we see all the Vikavolts going through the track. As we reach the ocean, the previous champ, DeRosa, is in the lead, and Sophocles catches up, but he tells his Vikavolt to slow down. The reason? Well, we'll find out in a bit. We then see James, who's also flying and catching up towards everyone, and on the bike he seems to be very confident. That is until a massive gust of wind knocks a lot of the Vikavolts off course, including James. Sophocles then thinks fast and uses a string shot to secure himself to a pole before continuing on with the race. So this is why he had his Vikavolt slow down. He predicted that that gust of wind is going to become a problem. His friends continue to cheer him as he's in first place now, and right behind him is Horacio, who says that he can't lose to Sophocles, and now the race is just beginning as both of them continue to fly through the course. Who's that Pokemon? It's Vikavolt! In the forced part of the race, both Horacio and Sophocles are narrowly avoiding the trees, going up, left, down, right, while still being really close to each other and in first place. Both Sophocles and Horacio continue to be neck and neck as they go to the cave, which is the next part of the race. Anna lets us know that the cave is the most difficult part of the race. As all the contestants enter the cave, Jesse turns the cave lights off, which is dangerous since there could be a ton of accidents since they can't see. Horacio and everyone else is slowed down since they can't really see well in the dark, but Sophocles is not next to him. Remember, Sophocles is afraid of the dark, so he's just on the floor cowering. James is behind all the racers, but his Vikavolt has this built-in night vision thing, and they're almost to the place where they can capture all the going Vikavolts. Sophocles then continues to cower on the floor until Vikavolt uses Discharge, lighting up the cave, which inspires Sophocles. He says that he's going to become an astronaut, so he needs to get over his fear. So he has his Vikavolt fly away without having to use the electricity. We then see Horacio in the front as he's continuing, but all of a sudden, a massive crash happens, and they're stopped by a massive web, which causes their Pokemon to be stuck. Then from behind, Meowth uses their Vikavolt to shoot out a second net to trap them. As Sophocles is flying behind all of them, he notices that something in front of him is wrong. Horacio is able to escape the net, and he flies away, but Team Rocket continue to chase him with a mechanical arm. They almost catch his Vikavolt until Sophocles attacks that mechanical arm and asks Horacio if he's okay and tells him to go. He then holds onto the arm and fights against it until Horacio comes back swooping and smashes the arm. He then uses Charge Beam against the mechanical Vikavolt and thus Meowth. And Sophocles is able to cut the web where all the Vikavolts are stuck. Then, all of a sudden, Meowth hears a banging on top of him, which is the Stuffle above his machine. We all know what that means. And when Jesse looks around for the Beware, it comes crashing from the ceiling, holding James on his shoulders and leaves with the rest of them along with the mechanical Vikavolt. In the crowd, our gang is nervous since no one's out of the cave yet. Just then, however, they see Horacio, Sophocles, and all the other Vikavolts come out. Because of the carnage inside, I guess a gentleman's agreement was made that they would restart the race once they were outside the cave, as Sophocles counts down and they restart the race. It's the final stretch of the race in the beach, and Horacio is slightly in front of Sophocles as the race is still neck and neck, and it's pretty electrifying as everyone's out of their seats and going nuts. In the final seconds, Sophocles catches up, and as the final couple milliseconds, Sophocles barely beats out Horacio and people go nuts. He comes out of the racing booth and reunites with his Vikavolt, really happy. Our heroes also come up to Sophocles to congratulate him on the win, and in a surprising twist, Horacio comes to him, admits his defeat, and shakes his hand, vowing to beat him the next time. Congratulations, Sophocles. So this means that Sophocles is going to get a Bugnium Z, but there's the problem of him not having a Z-ring. But that's okay for now. As they're walking up the beach, however, they hear Hapu's voice. She congratulates Sophocles on his win and gives him a Z-ring, letting him know that all the racers told her that he helped out everyone in the cave, and for that, he's gonna get the Z-ring. His friends congratulate him and he puts it on excited, and that's where the episode ends. The after credit scene is Sophocles sleeping with Togedemaru and dreaming about Vikavolt. The thing is, the Togedemaru was lit up. So does that mean he still can't sleep without light? I thought he'd gotten over his fear of dark. Maybe it's just for sleeping. Who knows? This is a pretty fun episode. In terms of what happened in the episode, there are three major things that happened, which is pretty important. I actually think that more than getting the Z-Ring or the Bugnium Z, Sophocles conquering his fear during the race is the most important part, because that continues his journey of wanting to become an astronaut. It's great character development for him, and I'm glad that that got addressed now rather than later, or worse, never at all. I don't know what the after credit scene means though, since Togedemaru is still lit up. Like I said, maybe it's just for sleep. Who knows? Also, in this episode, Horacio became a proper rival to Sophocles. This was good as well. He also got character development from the first time we met him. You can already tell that when he came in this episode, he already had a lot more respect for Sophocles, calling him his eternal rival. And in the end of the episode, they become friends. That was also good to see, so don't be surprised if Horacio shows up in the league and faces off against Sophocles one more time. I think this is going to be as far as character development for Sophocles is concerned. I don't mean that in a negative way. There's an episode coming up where Sophocles is going to learn how to use the Bugnium Z, so I'm not saying he's not going to improve, but his major character flaws have already been addressed this episode, so going forward, it's going to be more incremental changes, nothing too major. He got over his fear, I think, and he made friends with his rival. There isn't much more you can do with this character. This episode also confirms Sophocles getting in the league. He has a Z-Ring and the Z-Crystal, and he needs one more Pokemon to be in the standard 3v3, unless he decides to use his Metang for 3v3. He might capture a new Pokemon. Who knows? Like I said last episode though, I don't think he's going to make it that far in the preliminaries or possibly the first round, because he's not that big of a character and he doesn't really battle much. With that being said though, it's still going to be good to see him battle in a serious sense. Overall though, I'd say go ahead and check out this episode. It's surprisingly good and develops both Sophocles and the plot moving forward, which is good for all parties involved. The next episode preview looks pretty interesting. It seems our heroes are out fishing and Lana comes across Kyogre, who's hurt and being attacked by a group of people. It also looks like her Brionne is going to evolve, and the episode itself looks very packed and interesting. With so many legendaries and mythicals already in the cast, I wonder if Lana's going to capture the Kyogre. Who knows? I'm excited to find out. But anyways, that's it for my Pokemon Sun and Moon 119 review. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, press the like button. It really does help me out. Share this video and let me know in the comments. What are your thoughts on Sophocles being in the league? Who do you think he's going to face and how far do you think he's going to make it? Let me know what you think. Subscribe if you feel I deserve a subscription. You can follow me on Twitter at @TheRealPDGaming. And that's it. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.